Today, Precarious plays Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. So Doom 2016 does a really good job of making the smart way to play was a way that is really satisfying to actually do, you know? And I want to see more of that from Metroid Prime 4. Like, I think it would be pretty smart and good and clever if Samus's energy fell a little bit faster, but then if you beat enemies, you got it back.
Yeah.
Because that's like the basic idea behind Doom, is you're actually pretty fragile. But the glory kills, I think they're called, they will just bring you right back up to full most of the time.
I wonder what cosmic situation would make that or something very similar work out. Like, usually whenever I think of Samus being any kind of fragile, it's when she's out of her power suit. But being out of the power suit for too long is kind of not fun, because then you don't get to use all your stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I think that this game is an example, putting her in such a hostile and strange environment makes it feel a little bit more dangerous.
I think that they could... Well, I don't think that they should go back to Phazon, because that was resolved pretty definitively in Prime 3, which you'll see when we get there. But I think that they could introduce some sort of new technology or some sort of new power source, or you know what? Here's a really specific one. I've not looked up any information about Metroid Prime 4, you know, other than like release dates that keep getting moved around and pushed back and junk.
Yeah, because it is difficult to interact with that.
And I think that I think this is what I missed. I think this will hopefully lead to new goodness. If it were set after Fusion, they could capitalize on Samus's occasional vulnerability to cold. Because due to the events of Fusion, she ends up vulnerable to freezing like a Metroid.
I'm just trying to think of, like, I mean, the easy thing would be to say, you are now on a cold planet. But part of me wants to see Samus, like, hop planets.
Honestly, you know what you know what I've wanted for a while?
What?
What I've wanted... so, while I begrudgingly have to accept Metroid Dread as a pretty successful apology because of some of the decisions that they made, it still is not the sequel to Fusion that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And this is an idea that I conceived of when I was like a young teen, and it's like, okay, a bunch of people, they got paid money and they didn't think of this. They didn't think of an idea. They didn't consider this, or they didn't like fight to capitalize on it. I think that because of what happens in Fusion, I think that the Federation should have turned on Samus in the first post-Fusion Metroid game. It should have been Samus like on the run and then eventually like toppling the parts of the Galactic Federation necessary just for her to stay safe, to protect herself, like exposing the experiments that they've been doing, and it's an undercurrent that was dropped into Metroid Prime 3. So it's really frustrating how I feel like, I mean, to be perfectly frank, non-Japanese, like, people outside of Nintendo of Japan, they have really interesting ideas and they're really inspired by Metroid. And then Nintendo of Japan is usually just like, we don't understand what we're supposed to do with the tall, hot blonde, so we're gonna make her a mom. God, just talking about Metroid makes me so mad. We
could talk about bees.
No, bees are bad.
No, bees are scary. Bees are dangerous. Bees are good. Okay, that's where I've landed. But
where? Oh wait, no. No.
I want to see.
I think there was a key there, but we couldn't get it because we didn't have the grappling beam. But now we have a grappling. Oh, and I can go there. Okay, so I just need to go back up.
Okay.
I think I just need to go. I just think I need to head back to the surface.
Whenever I'm thinking about environments for another Metroid Prime, I think, like I said it way earlier in the recording of this game, but I want to see more space. I want to see a space station or a multiple space station or asteroid belt, something or other. You know, where you have to, like, where you get some mobility stuff a lot more quickly.
Yeah.
And you have to get through the cold of space to different stations. And the different stations could be very different. They could be different species. They could be different types of environments. They could be like, there's a farm, you know, like a grow zone. There could be like a refinery operation. It could have that same feeling of Metroid Prime where like you're going through all kinds of different biomes, but instead of it being located on a planet that you've crashed on, it'd be that your mission is taking you through a space station. And like, not a space station is too simple, but like a neighborhood of satellites or something along those lines, like developed asteroids that are, relatively speaking, close to each other in the scale of whatever mobility you're...
I noticed that little underhang watching the game in post.
Did you?
It justifies the whole shebang. Giving me 2 opportunities to find power-ups in Metroid? Yeah. Worth it. Let's do 100,000 more episodes, please.
But I think that capitalizing on her vulnerability to cold would be pretty easy if you were trying to have her, like... Oh, God. I can't remember. Was it Space Jump Boots? The one that just turned you into a flip ball of energy. And then there's Shine Spark, too.
It's 2 different, but often sort of interconflated power-ups. So the screw attack wreaths you in energy whenever you do a somersault.
Yeah.
Space Jump Boots allow you to somersault indefinitely in the air.
Right.
Most of the time.
So those 2, as an example, wouldn't necessarily have to be those 2. Could be something new. But those 2, and then Shine Spark, between all of that, like, that provides a lot of mobility that is canon within what Samus is usually up to already, you know? And I think that would be fine from getting getting, like, hopping between regions of a derelict space neighborhood. And then you could play with gravity. And that could just be fun. It would be fun, and it would be new, and it would still be platforming, and it would still be shooting, and it would still be adventure, and it would still be finding power-ups. You know? And you might get, like, coordinates for an asteroid that you need to get to.
See, I think whenever they disappear, I think that they're leaving behind a duplicate. See, the little sparks that kicked off. I think if I watch for sort of like a landing effect, I think I might still be able to hit them.
Yeah. Is the bridge in the way?
No, I'm just not using charge shots.
Oh.
So that's why they're not, you know, getting incinerated straight away. Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna... This is probably gonna be really frustrating because I think I'm gonna go up here and then they're just gonna...
Go down.
Go down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Here we are. Hello, cowards!
Actually,
where are you?
I think that they might have either have been defeated by some effect or they ran away because the door suddenly opened and I don't think it was related to me shooting them. Is there a grappling point here? Because that would be really cool. Doesn't look like it. To wrap up my main thoughts on Metroid Prime 4, I'm trying to have very few expectations because I think that that's like what's best for my mental health after.
No, I think that is what is...
years of being a Metroid fan.
I have to agree wholeheartedly after years of being a witness to your fandom, to your hopes just getting crushed every time. Woo! That little guy almost gotcha.
Wait a second.
What's up there?
Yeah, that's... I remembered. Ha! Didn't need to see that one in playback. I just remembered it with my brain.